It began on a rainy Tuesday morning, the kind of morning when even the birds seem reluctant to sing. Officer Dana McKinley was finishing her usual patrol through Crestwood Park when she noticed something odd beneath the slide in the abandoned children's playground. A small figure, barely more than a bundle of tattered blankets, curled tightly into itself as though trying to disappear from the world. She stepped out of her cruiser and slowly approached, rain slicking her uniform. "Hey, sweetie," she called out gently, trying not to startle the figure. "Are you okay?" The bundle stirred. A pale face peeked out, sunken eyes, matted hair, dirt smudging every inch of skin. It was a little girl, no older than 6. Dana, crouched beside her. "What's your name?" No answer. Just wide, glassy eyes staring right through her. That's when Dana's heart sank. This child didn't just look lost, she looked broken. The girl was silent but didn't resist as Dana wrapped her in her patrol jacket and led her to the warmth of the cruiser. She didn't speak a word. Not during the drive to the station, not when social services arrived, and not when a warm meal was placed in front of her. She just stared, hollow, empty, as if she had forgotten how to be a child. Dana gave her a name for the file, Jane Doe, until they could figure out who she was. News of the mysterious girl spread quickly. No missing child reports matched her description. No school claimed her. No one came forward. "Where are your parents?" one of the social workers asked softly. Still no response. Days turned into a week. A pediatrician's examination showed signs of malnourishment, but no immediate physical injuries. No signs of abuse, just neglect, and a haunting sense that this little girl had been through something no child should ever endure. One evening, Dana returned to the park where she'd found her. She stood beneath the same slide, now vacant and dripping with rain, and tried to piece together how long the girl had been there. That's when an old groundskeeper approached her. "You're the one that found her, aren't you?" he asked, squinting through the drizzle. Dana nodded. "Yeah," the man scratched his head. "I think I saw her weeks ago. Thought it was a stray dog at first. Every morning I came by, she was gone by the time I started my rounds. I never got close enough to see her face." Dana's heart clenched. "You're sure it was her?" The man nodded. "Same coat, same spot." Weeks. This little girl had been sleeping in a park for weeks, alone, unnoticed, invisible to everyone who passed. Back at the station, Dana pulled every missing child report from the last 5 years, going back farther than protocol typically required. Still nothing. It was as if this girl had materialized out of thin air. She spent her own time with the girl, bringing coloring books, stuffed animals, even singing lullabies. Eventually, the girl began to respond, not with words, but with tiny gestures. A nod, a flicker of a smile, a single tear that rolled down her cheek when Dana whispered, "You're safe now." What kind of story could this girl be hiding? And, who had failed her so completely that no one even noticed she was gone, what do you think might have happened to this little girl? And how does a child vanish from the world without anyone looking for her? The answers would come, but not without shattering hearts along the way. The little girl still hadn't spoken. Not even a whisper. But something about her eyes, too wise for her age, too full of memories she should never have had, made Officer Dana McKinley feel like the silence was a scream waiting to be heard. She was placed in emergency foster care, but Dana couldn't stop thinking about her. She visited the home every day after her shift. Each time she brought something new, a pair of clean socks, a soft toy, a juice box with a smiley face drawn on it. She didn't know why she cared so much. Maybe it was the way the girl's tiny hand had clung to her jacket, or maybe it was the aching stillness in her gaze. Either way, Dana knew she was already in too deep. And then something changed. One evening, While Dana read a book aloud beside her, the girl slowly leaned forward and touched the page. Her finger landed on a picture of a family gathered around a dinner table. She pointed to the mother, then to herself. Dana's breath caught. That's your mommy?" she asked gently. The girl gave the smallest nod. Progress. After nearly 2 weeks of silence, this one gesture was monumental. Dana called the station, had them send over a sketch artist, and sat beside the girl as she pointed out details. Hair like this, eyes like that, a necklace, blue stone in the center. It was the first real clue. The sketch went out to nearby counties, then statewide databases. Still, no hits. Dana refused to believe this child didn't exist somewhere. Someone must know her. Days later, something even more unexpected happened. The girl tried to speak. Just one word, barely audible. May. Dana leaned in. "Is that your name? May?" The girl nodded slowly, eyes wide with fear. As if even that small truth could put her in danger. It was all Dana needed. Armed with a name and a rough sketch of a woman, Dana began digging. She searched missing persons, shelters, hospital records, anything that might show a girl named May had once existed in the world, and then something surfaced, a hospital admission from 8 years ago. Woman entered the ER unconscious after a car crash, listed as having a toddler daughter named May. The woman had no ID, only a hospital bracelet with the name Carla Jensen. But no follow-up was ever logged. No discharge, no funeral. It was like the file had just stopped. Dana felt her skin prickle. What had happened after that? She visited the hospital directly. An older nurse remembered the case vaguely. They transferred the woman out, some private facility, I think, out of state. And the child. The nurse frowned. There was a little girl, but no one ever claimed her. I assumed social services took her. But May had never shown up in the system. Dana's gut twisted. What happened to her for all those years? That's when she did something outside of protocol. She called an old contact in out-of-state law enforcement. "Can you find anything?" "About a transfer patient named Carla Jensen in 2015. Car crash victim, possible head trauma. She had a daughter. The little girl might be in danger." 2 days later, the call came. They had found a facility that had admitted Carla Jensen. It was private, remote, known for taking in cases that were off the books. A place with a reputation for silence. Dana, her contact, warned, "This place has lawyers thicker than their walls. If this girl's connected to what I think she is, you're not just stepping on toes. You're kicking open doors that were welded shut for a reason." But Dana didn't care. Someone had taken a little girl, hidden her for years, and dumped her in a park like trash. And the more she uncovered, the more she felt the truth clawing just beneath the surface. What kind of secrets would a private facility keep buried for a decade? And what kind of mother disappears without a trace while her daughter sleeps under playground slides? Dana didn't know what she was walking into, but she knew May deserved to be found. Really found. The silence was about to break. It was grey when Dana pulled up to the gates. A place that looked more like a prison than a hospital perched atop a lonely hill just outside state lines. The nameplate was so polished it almost looked smug. Everpine Recovery Institute. But there was nothing healing about it. The security guard eyed Dana's badge and gestured to wait. After several long minutes, a woman in a sleek grey suit appeared. "Officer McKinley, I'm Dr. Lister. May I ask what brings you to our facility?" Dana kept her tone even. "I'm following up on a former patient, Carla Jensen, admitted after a car accident in 2015. Her daughter was never accounted for." Dr. Lister smiled, tight, professional, cold. "I'm afraid we can't disclose information about our patients without proper court orders." Dana nodded slowly. And if the patient is dead? The doctor's expression didn't change. Then we still honor confidentiality. I suggest contacting your district attorney's office if you wish to proceed further. Dana left empty-handed, but not empty-hearted. Her gut screamed that the answers were in that building. She drove around the perimeter, noting surveillance cameras, delivery trucks, and a back entrance that led toward what appeared to be an older, unused wing of the institute. It was boarded, up, weather-stained, but behind one cracked window, Dana thought she saw something, a flicker of light. Movement, she couldn't be sure. Back at the station, she dove deeper. She found out Everpine had been flagged 3 times in the last 10 years for administrative inconsistencies. Nothing stuck. Every complaint was shut down fast, every whistleblower silenced. It was a fortress built on silence. That night, Dana returned, not as an officer, but as a woman desperate for answers. She parked far from the gates and walked through the trees behind the property until she reached the old wing. There, behind the cracked window, she saw it again. Movement. A figure. She knocked softly. The light disappeared. Then, footsteps. And then the window slid open. A thin woman, pale and trembling, peeked through. Her hair was matted, and a long scar traced her temple. Dana whispered, "Carla." The woman flinched, then nodded. "Barely." Dana's heart pounded. "I found May." Tears welled up in Carla's eyes. "I thought she was dead," she rasped. "Who told you that?" Dana asked. Carla glanced over her shoulder. They did. In fragments, whispers, and terrified glances, Carla revealed the truth. After the crash, she'd awoken in Everpine, disoriented, memory clouded. They told her May hadn't survived. For years, Carla lived under heavy sedation, kept isolated from the outside world, but her memory had started returning. 3 years ago, I remembered the crash. I remembered holding her, hearing her cry, she said through sobs. I begged them to tell me where she was. They sedated me again, locked me in this wing. Dana swallowed the lump in her throat. Why would they lie? Carla looked her dead in the eyes. Because someone paid them to. That's when Dana's phone buzzed. A call from her partner at the precinct. You're not going to believe this, he said. That girl, May, she matches the daughter of a tech executive from over a decade ago. Guy was facing charges, but everything disappeared after his sudden settlement. His wife vanished after a crash. Daughter presumed dead. Dana's head spun. Carla Jensen had been married to Vincent Laurel, a billionaire with a known history of silencing bad press with payouts. Rumors of domestic abuse, child endangerment, and hush money settlements followed him like shadows. So,
så de bad han nu er her på Aalhorstnødretid, eller det ord, jeg vil se, her er jeg, altså, det er det.
and how many children fall through the cracks without anyone asking why? Dana stepped back from the window. I'm going to get you out, she said. And this time, she meant it. The next 48 hours unfolded like a tightly coiled wire snapping loose. Dana filed an emergency motion with the court, using her body cam footage of Carla's statements as probable cause. Though Everpine's legal team tried to block every step, the judge ordered a surprise welfare check at the facility. Dana led the charge. With 2 deputies by her side and the court order in hand, she marched through the same polished lobby where they once told her nothing existed. But this time, they had no choice but to open the doors to the abandoned wing. Carla was waiting, still weak, still scared, but ready. Medical examiners confirmed her identity, and within hours, her file was unsealed. What it revealed was worse than Dana imagined. Carla's psychiatric status had been fabricated. Her records were edited. Someone had been paying Everpine for years to keep her off the books. Vincent Laurel. But he hadn't expected May to survive. And he certainly didn't expect the one officer who wouldn't give up. While a storm of headlines erupted around Everpine and Laurel's legal team scrambled to contain the fallout, Dana brought Carla to May. It was quiet when they entered the room, just the ticking of a clock, the hum of a nearby heater. May sat cross-legged on the bed, clutching the stuffed animal Dana had given her weeks ago. She looked up slowly and froze. Carla took one cautious step forward. Then another. "May," her voice cracked. "It's me, Mommy." For the first time, May spoke freely. "Mommy?" The dam broke. May flew into her mother's arms. Carla collapsed to her knees, sobbing into her daughter's hair. And Dana? She turned away, swallowing tears of her own, not because it was over, but because it had finally begun. That reunion made headlines. Lost for a decade, mother and daughter reunited after years in the dark. Dana was offered a promotion, a commendation, and even a book deal. She turned it all down. Because while the world saw a miracle, she saw a warning. May's story wasn't just rare. It was a reminder, for every child found, how many are still out there? What would you do if someone you loved vanished without a trace, and every system you trusted refused to help? Would you keep searching, no matter the cost? As for Everpine, it was shut down permanently. The state launched an investigation into private recovery centers and silent settlements. Dana testified before a national panel, sharing what she'd learned the hard way. Justice isn't about breaking the rules. It's about refusing to let silence win. May and Carla now live together in a quiet town 2 states away. Therapy helps, so does time. But what truly heals them is each other and Dana. She still visits, still checks in, because some cases aren't just cases, they're promises to speak up, to fight back, to never look away. If this story moved you, don't let it stop here. Like, follow and share to help bring more untold stories to light. You never know who's waiting to be found.